addition and subtraction word problem strategies.
Hey friends, do you know what today is? It's Cinco de Mayo, which translates to the 5th of May. A lot of people think this is the Mexican Independence Day, just like we celebrate the 4th of July, but that's actually incorrect. This is actually the celebration of the Mexican Army victory over the French Empire in the Battle of Puebla, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. The city of Puebla in Mexico still celebrates this day, and they have arts festivals, festivals of local foods, reenactments of the battle, and it, I'm sure, is amazing and a lot of fun. I would sure love to go there one day and see all of that. But here in the U.S., we actually celebrate Cinco de Mayo as well. And actually, we celebrate it more than they do in Mexico. It has actually become a celebration of the Mexican American heritage and all of the wonderful things that they brought to the United States when they came here. We started celebrating in the United States in California a long time ago in the year 1863. So my family and I are going to have a party tonight to celebrate Cinco de Mayo and all the amazing and wonderful things that the Mexican heritage has brought to the United States. I have on my sombrero and I'm ready to party. I got to make tacos and burritos, and I've got decorations to put up and even a piñata full of candy, and I so wish you were here to help me break it open. But I also need you to help me with some word problems so I can get this party started. Will you help me? Okay, here is the first word problem I need help with. I am making a piñata for my Cinco de Mayo party. I put in 23 lollipops, 29 pieces of chocolate, and 22 pieces of gum. How many pieces of candy are in my piñata altogether? Okay, so remember, when we solve a word problem, we always start by asking ourselves, what is the question? What is the mystery that we're trying to solve? And remember, we can always find that because it almost always ends in a question mark. How many pieces of candy are in my piñata altogether? So I know my question. Now I'm going to go back and see, are there any clues that might help me solve this mystery? And up here we see that there are 23 lollipops, 29 pieces of chocolate, and 22 pieces of gum in my piñata. So in order to do that, would I figure out the answer by adding or subtracting? Adding. Is there any trash in this word problem? Remember, trash is those little sneaky numbers that sometimes get put in word problems to throw us off. But no, I don't see any trash. Lollipops and chocolate and gum are all candy in the piñata. So I'm going to add all three of these numbers together. Last week, we talked about adding 3 two-digit numbers. In fact, we went all the way up to 4 two-digit numbers. And we know that there are many strategies for this. So what I want you to do is think about which strategy you would like to use to solve this problem. You might want to ask your parents to pause it so that you can figure it out, and then start it once you have your answer to see if your answer is like mine. Okay, so I have gone ahead and written down our equation. 23 plus 29 plus 22. Remember, it doesn't matter if we order them differently. We could say 29 plus 23 plus 22, or 22 plus 23 plus 29. Can you remember what property tells us that is okay? Right, the commutative property. So it doesn't matter what order. I just went ahead and listed them in the order they show on the screen. So, or in the word problem, I guess I should say. So I'm going to go ahead, and my favorite way to do this is just to stack all three up and regroup. So that's the way that I'm going to do it. But remember, you could use place value blocks, you could break apart the numbers, you can do it however you wish. So I've got 23, 29, and 22. And the most important thing that I need to remember when I am stacking these numbers is to make sure that my tens and ones stay in line. So I've put my little line straight down the middle to help me do that. And I'm always going to start on the right to be right. So we're going to start in the ones place. And I'm going to start by adding what is 9 plus 3? 12. So if I add these two together, I get 12. Now I have 12, and I'm going to add 2 more, which makes 14. So I'm going to write my 14. Remember, I can't have a 10 in the ones place, so I'm going to carry it to the tens place. Not going to throw it away. Now I'm going to add up this side. The easiest thing here to me is just to count by twos. 2, 4, 6, plus 1, because you don't want to forget that, is 7. So there are 74 pieces of candy in my piñata. Now that we have the piñata taken care of, let's take care of the decorations. Lily and Maggie are blowing up balloons for the party. Together, they blew up 65 balloons. If Lily blew up 39 balloons, how many did Maggie blow up? So once again, let's look for our question, that mystery we're trying to solve. And it is right here. If Lily blew up 39 balloons, how many did Maggie blow up? So we're trying to figure out Maggie's number. So let's go ahead and think about what we already know. We already know that together they blew up 65, and we know there are only 2 people. So if we know Lily's number, how can we figure out Maggie's number? Would we add or subtract? So let's think this through. If we add 39 to 65, what's going to happen? We're going to go over our whole. Our whole in this problem is 65. So if we add those together, we're going to go over our whole. So if Lily blew up 39 balloons, and let's say we add and say that Maggie blew up over 100 balloons, would they have only blown up 65 altogether? No, of course not. So if we know our whole and one of our parts, the easiest thing to do is subtract. But remember, because of fact families, we can either count up to 65, so add 39 plus something, or we can count back 39 from 65. So be thinking about what strategy you want to use. And as I said before on the other one, go ahead and pause now and then restart to see if your answer matches mine. Okay, I have gone ahead and written down a part whole map to help us with this math problem. We know 2 pieces of our puzzle, so we can plug those in. We said that 65 is our whole because that's how many balloons Maggie and Lily blew up all together. So where does my whole go? Do you remember? At the top. Very good. Part, whole. So you put these together and you make this. So 65 is going to go at the top. I know that one of my parts is 39 because that's how many balloons Lily blew up. But the question here, like we discussed before, is how many balloons did Maggie blow up? So I have my whole and one of my parts. So the way that I like to solve this type of problem is to set it up with the whole minus one of the parts. That looks like this. Let me put my question mark in here. But remember, I know that some of you like to start with this number and see what you add to this to get this number. So another way we could do it is 39 plus what is going to give us 65. So we could add or subtract. I'm going to stick with the subtraction because, as you all know, I like to have the question mark by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase the other equation. So my favorite way to subtract 2-digit numbers is to stack them up. That seems to be my favorite way. But remember, we could also use place value blocks, or we could break apart numbers. We could use an open number line. I know some of you are really good at that. So I'm going to start with 65 minus 39. Once again, when we subtract, we have to start with the whole. So if I had 39, I could not take away 65. Because if you go to the store with $39, you can't spend 65. So I'm going to start with my whole, and I drew the line down the middle to keep my tens and ones separated. Now remember, I'm going to start on the right, and I need to ask myself, is the big number on the top or the floor? So where is it here? Big number on the floor, go next door and borrow 10 more. Do you remember that? So I'm going to go next door and borrow 10 more. So I did have 6 tens, but I took one. Now I only have 5. I did have 5 ones, but I gave it a 10, so now I have 15. So this is what it looks like. Now 15 take away 9. 6, fantastic. And 5 take away 3 is 2. So the answer is 26. So that means that Maggie blew up 26 balloons. I've always told you to go back and read it in the problem to make sure it makes sense. So if I say that Lily and Maggie blew up balloons for the party, and together they blew up 65, if Lily blew up 39, would it make sense that Maggie blew up 26? Yes. Did you get that answer? Now that we've taken care of our piñata and our decorations, it's time to make maracas. I mean, what fun would Cinco de Mayo party be without them? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take water bottles and I am going to put some beans inside to create maracas. Would you guys mind to help me? We made maracas by putting dry beans in plastic water bottles. If we make 6 maracas and put 25 beans in each one, how many beans did we use? All right, so let's talk about this one. What is the question? What is the mystery we are solving? How many beans we used? Very good. So remember when I talked to you all about how sometimes drawing it makes it easier to see? I think in this problem that would be a great thing to do. So remember, one of our clues is that we made 6 maracas, and another clue is that we put 25 in each one. So let's think about that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to model this with drawing. So if I have 6 maracas, I'm going to draw 6 maracas, but instead of drawing actual maracas, I'm just going to draw 6 circles because I know that this is not art class and they don't have to be perfect. So I'm going to draw 6 circles to represent my maracas. Okay, so there's my 6 circles. It says there are 25 beans in each one. So instead of drawing 25 of each one, I'm going to just put the number 25 in each one. And I'm going to talk about 2 ways on this one because I know some of you are really good with money. We can think of these like quarters. So does anybody remember how many quarters make $1? 4. So if I have 4 quarters or 4 25s right here, that is $1, and $1 is worth 100 cents. So that is 100. And then if I add in my 2 quarters that are left, 2 quarters are 50 cents. So if I add that 50, 100 plus 50, of course, is 150. So that's how many beans I have used. Let's say, you know what, Miss Taylor, I don't really understand the whole money route. Let's go one other way. So that's just one way to think about it, like money. So instead, I'm going to take that away, and I'm just going to go back to our 625s that we have. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to think about it this way. 25 plus 25, a lot of us know that makes 50, okay? But if we don't, we can always stack it up. So I'm going to stack up 3 of my numbers because I'm pretty good at doing that. We've talked about that many times. And I'm going to mark them out like this. Okay? And I'm going to add these together. And I have 5, 10, 15. but I can't have that 1 in the tens place, so I'm going to move it. I'm sorry, in the ones place. I'm going to move it to the tens place. So I put it right up here. And now I have 2, 4, 6 plus 1 is 7, 75. Okay, now if I do that again, 25 plus 25 plus 25, with the 3 remaining 25s that I have, what do you think is going to happen? Exactly, I'm going to get the same answer. So now I have 2 25s. What would be the next thing I would need to do? Add 75 plus 75. So I'm going to add my 2 answers together. And I'm going to start on the right. 5 plus 5 is 10. I'm going to carry that 1. We know the doubles fact, 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 1 would be 15. And once again, we get the answer 150. So 150 beans are being used in my maracas. So now I have my amazing piñata. I have all the decorations, and I have my maracas ready. Now it's time to think about food, because what party is complete without it? And so I made tacos and burritos for the party. I made 15 more tacos than burritos. If I made 32 tacos, how many burritos did I make? This is your today's challenge. And I would love to see how many different ways that you can actually solve this problem. So I'm going to give you 5 points for every single method that you use to solve this problem. So if you show me 4 different ways, I'm going to give you 20 points. If you show me 1 way, I'm going to give you 5 points. So however busy you think you'd like to be. I'm also going to include, in just a moment, the IXL skills that will be awesome to practice word problems. Remember, 20 is plenty, and I hope that you have an amazing Cinco de Mayo.
The IXL lessons that go with this virtual lesson are G15, G17, H9, and I5.